Hello and welcome back to Queens of the Paddock and F1 podcast. My name is Alex,
And I'm Courtney.
and we're back today to recap the Azerbaijan Baku Grand Prix.
Yes,
So,
super exciting.
yes,
First sprint
really,
race weekend, first race after what, a
I
month
know.
off?
I know.
Like,
That's what I was most excited for was just to be back having F1 and
yes.
having action and things going on.
Yeah.
But okay, so before we get into the weekend, I wanted
Mhm.
to just talk about some of the news things that have been going on.
Mhm.
Um, so the big one, really, I think, is Laurent Mekies leaving Ferrari and going to AlphaTauri to
Mhm.
be the team principal over there. So he's
Yeah.
going to be replacing French Toast, Franz Tost.
Oh God. Where's French Toast going?
Yeah. I think he's
Nowhere
just
to. Yeah.
retiring.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, he's been in that position at AlphaTauri slash Toro Rosso, whatnot, for like
Mhm.
14 or 15 years. Like, he's been
Oh,
there
okay.
for a really long time. So I don't know if it didn't really give me the vibe that he was getting pushed out. I
Yeah.
think,
Maybe,
he's
or
just
maybe it was
retiring.
just he's like, okay, it's
Yeah.
time before it becomes like a push out. Let me
Right.
just,
Let me just back away.
Yeah.
But so Laurent Mekies, he, I was reading whenever Mattia Binotto left
Mhm.
and they were having to find like a new team principal for Ferrari, he was, I don't know if like under the impression but like a lot of people thought that he would get the job.
Yeah,
And
maybe
then,
he was on the short list.
right, right.
Hmm.
And because I think like his title is, he's like the race strategy or engineer person. And then he's also like assistant team manager.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think he thought he was going to get promoted, and then they bring in Fred Vasseur, and he was like, "What about me?"
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, good for him, like finding another opportunity somewhere else, and
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
doing what he wants to do. So
Well, and you never know. Ferrari may have been like, okay, we're gonna kind of part ways, or we need to part
yeah,
ways, and let's
yeah,
see if you can find something, and then that way we can spin it like, oh, you're going for other opportunities. You know what I'm saying?
right, right. Yeah, well,
So,
because I still think Fred Vasseur is like cleaning house over there.
oh, so totally agree.
Yeah.
So with that, are we going to talk about all of the rumors surrounding
Yes, with
Charles?
Charles. Yeah, so I had that down on my notes for news, but
Yeah.
yes. So this week there was a report that was published in an Italian newspaper. It was like the Gazzetta or something, and I'll find the link
Yeah.
and I can add it to this. But reports are that Ferrari approached Charles Leclerc with a contract extension. His current contract is through 2024 or 2025.
Yep. 2024. So I looked this
2024.
all up today because I was
Yeah.
really curious.
Yeah.
So okay, keep going. So they came to him with a contract extension and
Right. And so allegedly he turned it down,
mhm.
and then there was a bunch of rumors that he was talking to Mercedes to go
Okay.
over
So
there. So
with
what did
that,
you read?
Lewis and
Mhm.
Russell, both
Mhm.
their contracts are up at the end of this season and
Mhm.
have not signed extensions yet.
Mhm.
Neither
Yeah.
one of them. So I was
Right.
like, well, maybe,
It's a
maybe,
possibility.
I mean, again in the race this weekend we saw. I mean, Lewis struggled. I feel like
Mhm.
he's struggling more and more. I mean, Russell didn't have the best weekend either, but I feel like
Mhm.
Russell kind of turned it around, versus Lewis was just you know, kind of
Yeah.
there. So maybe Mercedes is looking to say, even though you are a huge piece of our team and organization, maybe it's time to start talking about other
Planning.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, planning for the next years.
Yeah.
And so I had also heard rumors that Lewis, before he retires, he wanted to drive for Ferrari because it's like super
Oh.
iconic and whatnot. And
So could you
so,
see Mercedes letting Lewis go and then signing Charles and then Ferrari picking up Lewis?
yeah, I mean, I could.
But here was my question though: is can you buy someone out? I guess you probably could, but can Charles leave before his contract's up? Like,
I'm
could
sure.
I'm sure there's some type of clause that
Hmm.
like Charles has to pay so much to get out of his contract, right?
Yeah, well, remember we had talked about it a while back, and he has some kind of a clause that, like, if he's not third, at least third place in the championship or something, like, he has an out clause.
Oh,
Okay,
he does.
I will have to fill this in.
Hello, this is Editing Alex here with a little update on this. So, we looked into what his exit clause states, and obviously, none of this is on the record for the public to read. But allegedly, the rumor is that if he does not score a certain amount of points by August, he can technically choose to leave Ferrari early. So, two, there's been rumors or comments allegedly being made by Helmut Marko saying to this effect that he can leave if he doesn't have a certain number of points before August. And Marco is saying that this is the same thing that let Sebastian Vettel leave Red Bull early and join Ferrari. And then obviously we talk about, the rumors of um, Lewis and Charles switching spots. None of that obviously is confirmed, but what I'm reading on the interwebs is that this is a widely known rumor that everyone, it's pretty much like it's an open secret, like an untold secret that he's been having these conversations. So, remains to be seen.
Because I do
Yeah.
remember reading that.
That would be a huge thing,
Yeah.
especially if both Russell and Lewis have like their contracts end at the end of this year,
Hmm.
no extension, and if Charles has an out clause like that, oh my
It's
god.
on. It's on, and Courtney, we're gonna get good merch. Like the one I'm
Oh
wearing
my
right
I
now.
know. I know.
And I'm
But then
excited
who's
for
the
it.
question would be would it be Lewis or would it be Russell that's out?
Oh, I think it would be Lewis. I think
Yeah.
George is like, he's doing really good. He's very strong for them. Like,
Mhm.
I
And
don't
he's
think they
he's
would.
younger. He's
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
the
There's
future.
more
Yeah.
potential. There's more
Yeah.
potential there.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. That'll be really interesting
Yeah, so that was
to
like
see what happens.
whenever I was like we had talked about that and you like
Yeah.
sent me that or post or whatever, I was like, "Oh god, now I need to look up all of their contracts." And like then Signs I think is through 2024 also.
Yeah, I think they had the
Uh,
same
The same.
term.
Yeah, same ending. But
Mhm.
the difference was like he had a 5-year contract, which I
Mhm.
didn't realize. Like that's a pretty long contract.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I was like, oh snap, we could have another silly season, Alex.
Oh, I know. Well, we're
Can you
going to. I
imagine?
mean, it's gonna, like, there's going to be some stuff going around. And it'll be interesting because, I mean, I know we're only 4 races in, but there's
Mm-hmm.
already, like, several people that I'm like, I don't know.
Like
I don't think you're,
like Yuki.
huh. Oh,
I don't
no, I
think
think
Yuki's.
Yuki's turned it on in the past. Like, he's made points in the past couple races.
Yeah, I think
And
unfortunately, I'm gonna be real sad, but I think Kevin is gonna be out of a job after this year.
I think Kevin might be out of a job. I think Botas might be out
He
of a job. Every week I'm like,
well, let
what
me
is
see.
going on with
Did he have
Botas?
did he have a 1-year contract? Let me see.
I don't know when his contract ends. But then also Nick DeVries, I'm sorry, but he like I just don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be good for him if he
Yeah,
doesn't like turn something around at this point.
yeah. Let's
But
see.
so also too, while you're looking that up, all these rumors, are going around about Charles and Mercedes and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And he made it a point to, after he got his pole position, he was like pointing at his Ferrari like
Yeah.
logo shield thing. And then in some of his interviews when he was talking to different press outlets, he was saying that like he loves Ferrari and he's only focused on Ferrari and was just really trying to like reiterate like I'm not
I think
talking to anybody.
I think he probably is, right? Like I think
Right.
he wants it to work with Ferrari, right? Like
I think he
I think
does.
it's driving for Ferrari is a dream, right? For probably
Right.
any F1 driver. But the thing is if Ferrari can't produce a car, which Ferrari hasn't produced a car in years now,
Mm-hmm.
like they should be a lot better than they are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I think for him, he's like, okay, maybe I've lived my dream. I've driven for Ferrari. Now
Right.
it's time for something else. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But before we
Yeah.
get into that, because you kind of were like you just spilled the beans on
Oh.
qualifying. Let's talk qualifying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay,
okay.
so qualifying.
Yes.
So, okay, let's talk about the
New setup.
new
for sprint
new
race.
setup. Right.
Yes.
Because when we did
We-
our like I mean, we were both like we didn't have the information. Like literally, the information was not out yet. I don't think they had confirmed it.
I know. It was so confusing.
It was super confusing. But I think we both had elements of like what was going on. But you know what? Now that we've lived this new format, we
Now we know for
definitely
Coda.
know. Yes. Yeah.
So,
But
okay.
my question is it the same? Like, will it be the same? Is it
I
going to
think
be the
so.
same
I think it is.
for all the
I
sprints?
think-
Okay. So now
Okay.
we know what to expect.
Yes. So for the sprint races, since it was my topic to research and I clearly butchered the crap out of it. So the way the format works now is Friday, there's practice session 1
Mm-hmm.
in the morning, and that's the only practice session
Mhm.
throughout the whole weekend. In the afternoon, you have qualifying for Sunday's race.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Saturday, the now practice round 3 has turned into a sprint shootout,
Mm-hmm.
which is the qualifying for the sprint race.
Mhm.
In the sprint shootout, it's shorter and there's more requirements on the tires that you have to use.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
round 1 and round 2, you have to use a set of medium tires, and then round 3, you have to use brand new soft
ones,
tires.
yeah.
Not
That's
even
key.
like you know how sometimes they'll use like you
Right.
run it like maybe two laps and whatever, you'll reuse them, but no, there has to
Mhm.
be a brand new set. So then that goes into your sprint race, and your sprint race is for points, just like the races. So
Right. Yeah, but so and that the we'll get to it, but the requirements for the sprint shootout kind of like caught
F
some
somebody.
people out. So and
Yeah.
but okay, so let's back up and let's talk about
qualifying.
one thing I thought was interesting with that practice session being the only practice session, it really made it hard for a lot of these teams to get a good idea of like what their race pace was and like
Yes.
how the tires were going to wear down on this track. And like I mean that I think threw a wrench in a lot of different teams
Oh yeah,
because they
and not
just
only
didn't
that,
have any practice, which is
Yeah.
I'm like it's interesting. I don't know.
Well,
I was
not
here
only
for
that,
it. A
but-
lot of people weren't.
Yeah. But not only that, but that the other thing I think that threw the wrench in it was the fact that you had to use specific tires in the shootout, which I
Yeah.
think started throwing the whole team, everyone,
Right.
because then you're like, okay, well, I can't use too many here, but then I need these for qualifying, but I need it for the shootout, and heaven
Yeah.
forbid I need it on the race weekend or like during the
Yeah.
Grand Prix. Like it
I
was
know.
it makes it a lot more complicated.
Yeah. Well, and then it made me think too. I'm like, okay, who is the person on this team that's responsible for like tire allocation? And
Oh,
like,
God.
how much trouble was that person in?
Oh, I know.
Whenever
I know.
they didn't,
But,
they were
I
like,
know, no,
oh
no,
crap.
no, no,
Like,
but let's wait. Let's talk
okay,
qualifying
sorry.
first.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of
I know
myself.
you're so excited about that.
Okay, so qualifying.
Oh,
I thought qualifying was
great.
yeah, I thought it was really exciting. There was a lot of different things going on.
Yeah, let's talk Nick DeVries right now, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overrated. I kind of feel for him, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are a hot mess. And I don't know
Oh.
what everybody was so like gung ho between him and Oscar, and it was all this big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't even think, has he finished a race at all?
I think he's finished, but he hasn't gotten any points.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So to
But
back everyone
just
up,
so bad. Oh
oh
man,
yeah.
I felt horrible for him.
So to back up, and
Mhm.
probably one of the earlier laps of the qualifying
Mhm.
in Q1, he slammed into the wall. I think it was turn 5 or something. One of the first
Mhm.
turns. It's a pretty tight turn. I mean, there was multiple people that like
There
almost,
was
yeah, there
in
that
that
wall
same
was
spot.
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
situation. But he just, I don't even know what he was doing. He just didn't brake soon enough, and he just slammed into that wall. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, so of course they red flag the race or whatever. I was so annoyed. It took so long
It
for them to
did.
get his car out because he had like wedged it so hard in between the barrier. Like did you see them with the crane? They're pulling the whole
Trying to pull it out.
wall.
Yes, and then they have
Ugh.
to rebuild the wall and
Yes.
put everything back together, and it's just
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
like I felt like if you're a driver in that situation, like you're getting kind of like iced out, right? Like you're
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ready to go, ready to do your lap, and then this
Mhm.
happens and it's just like everything stops. I'm like,
Well,
ugh.
and I'm surprised he didn't bail out. Like there was literally a bailout lane right next to
Area.
him. And I was
Yes.
going to say Carlos bailed out. I think
A bunch
Russell
of other
bailed
people
out. Like there
did.
was quite a few people that completely bailed out and then like just backed up and then,
Mhm.
kind of kept going. But man, that was like the first thing. He slams into the wall and you're
Ugh,
just
it
like,
was rough.
seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean people were saying about him like, he is a rookie in F1, but he has so much experience.
Yeah. In
Like
Formula E, like
Formula E
F2.
champion,
Yeah.
F2, F3, I think. Like, I mean, he's got all this experience and he's been around for so long, and people were kind of like perplexed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, poor him. I mean, he probably has a lot of stress right now with like trying
Yeah,
to
but
live up to that performance that he had in Monza
I
and
don't
like
really care.
I
Like, that's part of the
know.
sport. Like,
I
you
know.
gotta
He just seems
produce.
like such a nice guy though.
It's like Mick. Like, I felt so bad for Mick,
Yeah.
but also at the same time, like, it doesn't matter who your family is, it doesn't matter
Right.
what happens, you have to produce.
No, you're
And
right.
slamming into walls like that, can't do it.
No,
you know?
it's not good for anybody.
So that was the first incident.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second incident, I think was it Gasly? Pierre?
Pierre, yeah, he had a
Yeah.
horrible weekend too.
Yes. Yeah.
Just awful.
And yeah,
And
Pierre
his car
slammed
was
into
like on fire.
yes. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
then I was gonna say, didn't Pierre smash into the same spot
I
in
don't know if it
qualifying?
was, you know what? I think it might have been, but wasn't it? Wait, was his car on fire during the practice?
I think it was practice. His car was on
Okay,
fire.
yes, you're right.
Because
And then
he
they
came
got
out
it
before
fixed.
they got it fixed. Because remember when everyone was waiting in queue, he came on the radio and told everyone, "Thank you for all the hard work of getting
Yes,
this ready in time, so
to
that he
go.
could even go for qualifying."
Yes, and then he crashes.
Yeah, slams into a wall. Yeah.
Just really bad weekend for them. I feel like both the Alpines had a really bad weekend.
Yes.
A lot of
Yeah.
struggles.
Oh yeah, for sure. So then that happens. Then what's the next thing that happened in qualifying? Now that I'm like thinking about it, I can't remember.
I don't remember. Was that it for the qualifying?
I think so. I mean, the nice thing is Charles became
Yes.
instead of being Mr. Saturday, he's now Mr. Friday.
Yes. Okay, so funny thing about that. So, the qualifying was on Friday. He
Mhm.
always wears red pants
Yeah.
for qualifying, which is typically on Saturday. So
Yeah.
he showed up to the track wearing white pants on Friday. And everyone was
What?
like, "Whoa, like where's your red pants?"
Well, maybe
And he
now
was
we need
like,
to change it.
well, so he said that the red pants are more of like a qualifying thing. Or
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. More of a Saturday thing.
And
So
not a
he did wear the
qualifying
red.
thing.
Yes. So he wore white pants on Friday, even though it was
Mhm.
qualifying. And then Saturday, he wore his red pants.
Which, and maybe they helped because Saturday,
Maybe they helped.
he had a
Because he had
good
another
Saturday.
good day on Saturday. Yeah.
He did. I mean, here's the thing. I don't think the Ferrari car can compete with Red Bull. Like,
No.
so I think if
No.
you're getting podiums, that's okay.
That's great.
Like, right now, I think that's the goal. Like, of course, you would love to win the race, but I just don't think, like, like, Charles could do everything right, and I just don't think the Ferrari has the pace. Unfortunately.
It just doesn't. It really
You know?
doesn't. And then, I mean, we'll talk about that some more, but he did say that they have upgrades coming. So,
Yes.
which all the teams do, you know, and that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully,
Ooh, speaking
we'll
of,
get some more improvement.
I think Aston Martin had an upgrade, and I think they're unhappy with the upgrade. They did something.
They did.
with
They changed their wing,
Yeah, the like top
and
part
their
in the
DRS wasn't working.
wing. Yeah, exactly. Like at one point, and that was on during the shootout, I think, right?
Yeah.
During the shootout, yeah, like essentially, Fernando was towing Stroll because his
Right.
DRS wasn't working.
Wasn't working.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see you've got like teams that are like so excited for upgrades and then they do and then it's like, well, is the upgrade really
Yeah,
that
it's like,
great?
did we go in the wrong direction here? I don't know.
Exactly. Okay, so
but
let's
okay.
talk sprint shootout because that was actually
Yes.
really fun too.
Yes. So that was a super, like, I thought it was exciting. I thought, like, it was very, like, they had to get out and they had to do a lap, like, right away. And it was kind of chaotic. And I feel like people were, like, stressed out. And so we were seeing also a lot of mistakes during that as well. Because it was just, like, chaos.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Well, the thing in this shootout I want to talk about is what's his name? Logan. God, I was gonna say Lance. I was like, no, Logan. I felt so bad for him.
He was doing good.
He was doing so good. The Williams looked great. He literally like that last lap. He like second to last lap. He like got the time to push him up into the next round. Everything's going great for him. He's pushing again, and he slams into that turn.
Yeah. And just wrecked the car. Literally, it was so bad.
Did you see the tire? The tire was like flipped around.
Yeah, no, it was crazy.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him. I was just like, oh, that sucks. Like
I know, it breaks your heart.
because you could feel like he had such a good run, and then it's just like, oh God, you know?
Yeah, I think he's getting close to like pulling something off.
He is.
Which next week, home race for him.
I know they were talking
he's
about
gonna
that.
have tons of support there. I think like it could be kind of like how Oscar's first home race was, where he got his first points and all of that. So that I think would make it worth it. Like that he hasn't gotten points yet for him to get his first points at the home
Miami.
race.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool.
Where all his family and friends and everything is there, you know, to watch and support.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
The other
from
thing-
that.
So-
Oh, sorry. No,
No.
I was just going to say real quick, from that crash that he had, he wasn't able to do the sprint race at all.
Yeah, because they couldn't fix
the
car
car
in time.
fast enough. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
unfortunate.
Yeah. And then on top of that, there was a lot of people who clipped the wall. Oh, Yuki clipped the wall. Wasn't that during the qualifying or the shootout?
No, I think that was during the sprint when his tire flew off.
Yeah, like when he clipped the wall and his tire flew off.
And then they had the shot of just the tire like rolling down.
Yes. Well, and then, I don't know if he got penalized. Well, need editing, Alex, but essentially he made it back into the pits during the the sprint race. But then he was still having car issues. And the stewards were like looking into it, the fact that the AlphaTauri sent the car back out.
Yeah,
like they should have never sent it back out.
They should not have.
So
yeah, because I think his alignment was off. Like they
like,
showed him
remember
driving,
he was, like,
and it was
sliding.
like it looked real weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they did get in trouble for that. I don't know if it was like a time penalty or just like maybe a fine. I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
figure out what the punishment was, but I do remember them saying that.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Editing Alex again. So, Alpha Tauri was fined 5,000 euros for sending Yuki Tsunoda back out onto the circuit after having pit him and then changing his tire. And what was interesting about that is that the stewards cited the radio communication between Yuki and the team, where Yuki told them several times that he didn't feel like the car was in a good enough condition to continue running. And the team continually told him that they were going to go back out. So just interesting that he had called that out and then the team pretty much ignored him and sent him back out. $5,000 isn't too bad. I think they'll be fine after that. Anyways, that's all. Bye.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now that we've moved into the sprint race,
Wait,
you want
so
to
hold on.
what?
We didn't talk about Lando's issue with his tires. He
Oh
didn't
yeah, I
have,
forgot.
yeah, he
During
didn't have the
the
right
shootout.
tires.
So he made it into the third round of the shootout, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to use brand new softs. And yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a set. And then Oscar was one place behind him.
I
And
know.
then everyone was laughing, kind of saying, "Well, the wrong McLaren got
McLaren.
in."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in
Yeah.
Mercedes, Russell didn't even make it into
I
the third round.
know.
It was
It
just
was
like
crazy.
it was a hot mess.
It was wild. I mean, but honestly, really entertaining. And I
Mm.
think it served its purpose of like being
Why?
entertaining and being
Oh, but yeah, but like
exciting.
why they changed the format?
Yeah. Well, and
Mm.
then, people were saying, like, a lot of people don't like it. And I understand why. And I get it. But people were saying, too, now when we go next week, we have a race. Are we really going to just be like doing practice sessions? Like, it's going to be kind of boring.
Yeah. Well, maybe next year instead of 6, they'll have 12.
I know.
I think they're going to keep adding them.
I think they
Especially after
will.
this one. This was a really good one. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd be interested to see like ratings on like,
Mhm.
viewership and everything like that, to kind of prove that point of like, is it more popular? I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think hands down it would be over a practice session.
Well, yeah, especially because like just like Logan, like I mean, he slammed into the wall during the
Mhm.
shootout and they couldn't even get into the sprint race.
Mhm.
It like adds that another layer of like complexity,
Right. Oh, 100%.
So,
And
but
you never
yeah.
know what's going to happen. But
So,
okay, so now we can talk
sprint
sprint
race.
race.
Yes. Okay, I have to talk about this because I literally was dying laughing at the end of this race. The tiff between
Oh my
Russell
gosh.
and
And Max.
Max. I don't think Russell did anything wrong.
No, he was literally racing. Like
He
he's
was.
trying to get
There
in
was
front of you.
there was enough room. Like it's
Yeah,
not like he cut him off. Like I mean, did he get a little close? Yeah, but again,
sure.
like Toto said to Max on the radio, he goes, "Well, Russell has nothing to lose." So
Mhm.
unfortunately, he's gonna race you a lot harder than if he's in first place, and if he wrecks his
Right.
car, then he's out.
Right.
So
Yeah,
with
and,
that,
and good for George, he
yeah,
wants to like get
stick
up
his
there
elbows
and be
out.
aggressive and get in front of him. And like he doesn't care. He's like, "Listen."
I'm here
And I
to
thought he
get
kept his
ahead.
composure really well too. Like whenever Max was like coming at him and
Calling
George
him a
was like,
dickhead.
"Hey mate."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he literally did. And then too, did you hear the interview? I think it was an interview from before the race. Somebody asked Max about the situation.
Mhm.
And so at this point, like my I thought it was more shocking because he's had now time to like sleep on it. And you would think that anybody else would come out of that and be like, "Ugh, maybe I overreacted. It was like heat of the moment. Like I was really
Mhm.
upset, whatever."
Yeah, adrenaline.
No, not Max Verstappen. He slept on it. He had 12 hours or whatever, and he came back and he was calling George Princess George.
What?
Like he was like, yeah, like I'll have to go find the actual quote, but he literally referred to him. He was like, well, you have to be careful whenever you're next to Princess George or something like that.
Oh my god.
And
That's
I'm
like
like, oh my God, he's not dropping it.
no, but that's like who is it? Was it Fernando talking about Lewis saying?
Yeah.
Remember, he was like, he only knows how to like drive and do
From
something
from
from
first.
first. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it is what it is, you know. Like
Yeah.
it's tight. Like you shouldn't. I mean, it's hard to do too wide on that turn,
Right.
but I mean, there was cars everywhere. I mean, everyone was kind
Yeah,
of bumping
what do
and
you expect, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then um okay, the people that whoever did the meme where George is like got his arms out
I
and
haven't seen
then
this.
oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's definitely going in the Instagram post.
I
So
can't wait.
you know at the intro and then everyone was making fun of George like cuz he's got his arms like
Oh
straight out
yeah,
like
yeah.
that and they were photoshopping him onto like planet Earth and like whatever,
Mhm.
like a bunch of different places. They stuck him into the hole that was made on Max's car.
Oh, I did see that.
I was like, I posted it on our story.
I think I remember that now. I was like, wait, I did see
Oh
that. Yeah.
my gosh, I laughed literally so hard when I saw that. It was
Oh,
so
that's
funny.
hilarious. So,
It was so
anyways,
funny.
okay.
But okay.
So, for that race, I will say the big thing was Max and Russell,
George.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They were just, whatever. But then I was really happy. I mean, I would love to see Charles win it. Checo
Yeah.
freaking
He
pulled
did
it
so
out.
good.
He did
He
really
did so
good.
good.
He had a great weekend.
Yeah, he really did. And I mean, he loves this track. I mean, any street tracks in general, he like just dominates. Charles really loves this track too. I feel like Charles knows this track. Like he could probably like drive it in his sleep or something because he probably drives it on sim racing a lot or something.
Well, I feel like he probably likes it because it's similar to Monaco, like
Mhm.
really narrow, like fast, things like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think for him, it's probably like more comforting, things that he's like kind of used to, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, so I mean, it was a good overall sprint race. Checo brought it home. I mean, but Charles, I think he did the best he could. I mean, he held off Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, he did.
I mean, it was good.
It was good.
I honestly, my
I was
favorite.
happy with it.
I was happy with qualifying, the shootout, and sprint race more than I was the actual Grand Prix.
The race. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you want to talk Sunday then,
Yeah. Let's talk Sunday. So
or today?
I mean, yeah, right. So I, watched this back because I did not wake up. Did you watch it in the actual time?
No, I got up at like 7:30 and then grocery shopping and then came back and watched it.
Nice.
I have to eat my breakfast and watch it so that I have enough energy to focus.
Right. No, so I mean, the start I thought was surprisingly like really clean. Nothing happened because I was really expecting it to be kind of chaotic. Like
especially on turn 1. That's what I thought. After going like that major straightaway,
right.
then yeah.
Right. And then Charles kept the lead. Everyone was kind of going. It was all good. And then Max shows up and passes Charles.
But
and it was
not
like,
until they had DRS though. That's the
Yes.
thing. If
Yes.
they didn't have DRS, then I think Charles
He
might have been
probably
able
coulda
to
kept
hold
them
him
behind.
off. Yeah, but
oh
once,
my gosh, but
once
when the
Red
DRS
Bull has
is open, it is insane. And like they had this really good like drone overshot showing that like that on that straight, and you can just see like how much faster that Red Bull car is. I'm like, how is this car legal? Literally, somebody could have put a complaint in.
Yeah. The one thing
Because there's no way.
I know, but the one thing I do wish, and I think you should get, is if you're in first, I think you should get to open your DRS. If you're in first.
I think that's fair too.
And
Because there's
if
no
the
one
person
in front
behind
of you.
No, if the person behind you is within a second.
Yeah.
So if you're in first and the person behind you is within 1 second, I think you should be allowed
be
to
able
open
to get it too.
Yeah, because that's the thing that like kind of ticks me off with it sometimes. I'm
Right.
like, if you're in first and you're so close, it's like you just keep kind of
Is swapping back and forth.
swapping back and forth,
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
But
saying. Maybe
no, I agree
FIA,
with you.
think
I
about it.
agree with you on that. I think that makes sense. Because yeah, like what are they going to do? I mean, they don't have anybody in front of them to give them that
Mhm.
DRS.
Yeah. Yeah. Which,
But
and the other
it was
thing, speaking of
shocking.
DRS, I feel like nobody does teamwork better than Fernando and Stroll.
And Lance, I
Oh
know
my God.
they are just like one big happy family. They
They
love
are.
it.
Did you hear Fernando on the radio today? He was like, "Hey, tell Lance that to
Mhm.
change his setup to like mine with the brakes. I think it's easier." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Wow." And then Lance was on the radio like, "Hey, tell Fernando I'm not going to like fight with him
They're
because
so
we're
sweet.
going after the same thing." And I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh my
No,
God."
they're such a good team. And like, who would have thought? Who
Oh, I
would have
know.
thought?
Who would have
Because
thought
I did
Daddy
not
Stroll
think.
thought?
Yeah, I know. He knew. He
He
was like,
knew.
this is going to work. I
Mhm.
would never picture Fernando Alonso being like a team player. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought? Who
Yeah.
would have thought?
Oh,
And like,
1,000%.
Lance is, going along with it and working with him. And
Mhm.
they're
Mhm.
great. They're great together. It makes me happy to see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
So,
had that written down on my notes. Okay, wait. I also wanted to address the national anthem before the race started.
oh, I didn't
Did
even
you
think I
watch
saw it.
this?
No.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to go back and watch it. I'm gonna have to put a clip in. It was the most epic, like, performance of a national
Oh.
anthem that I've ever
Well,
seen in my
you know
life.
why? They're probably celebrating the extra 2 years in the
Yes!
Baku Grand Prix
I was
that they
so
signed this
happy
weekend.
about that. Yeah,
Yes.
so happy about that. Definitely wanted to see this race continue on the calendar. And now that gives us some time. We need to plan. I want to go.
Plan. I'm down. You don't have to ask me twice. So,
Yeah. And we can go
but
see all that burning hillside and all the other stuff. And for
mhm.
sure, we got to get
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
for sure.
We
So,
have got to get out there.
then
But,
besides
okay.
that, the only other real like crazy thing that happened, I feel like, was Max complaining about his tires so early on and
Mm
him pitting
hmm. Mm hmm.
only to have a safety car.
I know. And
When who was it? Was
honestly,
it
it was
Nick?
Nick. It was
Nick
Nick
again.
again, which honestly, was it the same
I think it
turn
was. I think it
corner?
was. I think it really was. You'll
I
have to
think it
editing Alex
was.
will have to like go back, but I'm pretty sure it was the same corner.
He has just got to be so disappointed in himself. Poor thing.
Well,
But
now
yeah,
we're gonna have
so
to find out how much he's costing
well,
AlphaTauri.
and here's the crazy thing is like he didn't run into the wall. Like he clipped the wall and then he stopped before he hit those barriers.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so I didn't think it was gonna like I didn't think it was that big of a deal to get like a full safety car
Mhm.
out, but
There was a
apparently
lot of stuff on the track though.
yeah. And then also too, like whenever something is stopped on this track, like they typically do a safety
Yeah.
car
I was about to say
because
because
it's hard to like
anytime you
get
have to
stuff
get a crane
out.
out there, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But so anyways, yeah, Max had pitted right before that safety
Mhm.
car. And I thought we were going to hear more of him having a meltdown than we did. Like
Uh,
I
it's
was
still early
expecting
on.
like
Give Max 12 hours to sleep on it. And
he'll sleep on it. He'll come back and then he'll be
he'll come
complaining about it
back.
some more.
Oh
You're probably
yeah.
right. Because yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, play the radio. Play the radio. Like I want to hear what he's going to say."
I mean, but at the same time, it's not like the team chose to pit him.
He was complaining about it.
complaining about the tires. So I think
Mhm.
in his mind, if anything, that would be the only reason why he maybe wouldn't say anything is because
Right.
he himself was like, I
Asking
need
for
new
it.
tires. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
That
you're
did
absolutely
suck
right.
for him. It screwed him. Like,
That really screwed him. Yeah. It
mhm.
really did.
Yeah, because you could even tell after that he just couldn't piece it together. You
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
So Yeah. And then, the other thing, sorry, I keep jumping around, I want to talk about is Ocon, who is it? Alpine and Haas having each having a driver that they almost got penalized for not changing tires.
I
They
know.
both did a pit stop on the last lap because
Yes.
they were hoping for another safety car and nothing happened.
And nothing happened.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then they both had started from the pit lane because they
Yes.
had to make changes to their car. So, I mean, but they just did not have a good time
No.
of it. And then too, whenever Esty came in, he almost ran over all the photographers and stuff that were
Yeah.
setting up in the pit lane.
Well, but the photographers are also idiots
No,
because
they
the
should
race
not have been there.
the
Are you
race
kidding
wasn't
me?
done. Like you
Right.
should never be on like any of that until the race is like done.
Done. Right.
know?
Well, and so I think officially they're able to go out into that area on the last lap, but somebody should have been like, "Hey guys, let's not do that today because
Yeah.
there's two cars that are
But
literally going to be coming through here because they haven't come to the pit lane
here's
yet."
the other thing though. The other thing is most of the time that happens, Russell pitted on the last lap because
Yeah.
he went for softs because he
Right.
was, I think, what,
Trying to
30
get the
seconds
fastest lap.
front of, no, well, he was 30 seconds in front of whoever was behind him. So he could
Mhm.
pit and not lose a place and to get fastest lap. So I'm like, that's
Right.
not very uncommon. So you standing
Right.
out there like that, you're a bunch of idiots. You're going to get run over.
Yeah, I would never. I mean, and they showed the onboard from Esteban's car, and I'm like, that is crazy. Like, they were literally in the lane. Like, he was about to mow them over.
Oh yeah. Well, did you also see
So insane.
who was it? Checo? Yeah, Checo, I think it was. He got investigated for almost an unsafe release whenever
After
the
that pit
safety
stop.
card came out.
Yeah.
Came out, and then Ferrari was double stacking. I literally, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh God!" And
I
then
know.
Russell and who was it? Russell and someone else were like side by side going down the pit lane.
Oh,
he
yeah.
didn't-
It was Russell, and was it It was Stroll. And
It
he
was
was
Stroll.
trying to.
Stroll
'Cause
was trying to
there's a
slow
rule.
down. No.
Well, there's a rule that you can overtake in that pit lane.
As long
But
as one of your tires is in the
has to
fast
be.
lane.
Yes.
Literally, they brought it up.
Yes.
But the reason why Stroll was slowing down, though, was because they were double stacking. And he was trying to give the
Time it right.
mechanics enough time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was like, that was crazy. I was like, that is like an accident waiting to happen.
Oh, I know. When they were talking about that is like a rule that you can do that, I was like, oh my God, why? Like, that seems
So
like
dangerous.
not a good thing to be doing.
Yeah, for sure. So after that, I mean, of course, Checo came in with the safety car, changed out his tires. Max kind of fell down the order just because he was there. I mean, he pitted early or whatever, and then he ended up coming back, overtaking Charles and everything. And but the good thing, Checo brought it home, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with Checo winning.
Same
long
here.
as
And
it's
he
not
was
Max.
so happy.
He was.
Like, I get so happy for him whenever he wins because he just looks so ecstatic and like
But you know what makes me mad?
excited.
None of the team doesn't get nearly as excited for
Nope.
him as they do when Max wins. Did you notice that?
Oh, 100%.
Like everyone
And
was kind of happy, but they're like not.
Not
happy.
nearly as much as they are. And then too, like, I feel like Christian will always get on the radio after a race and talk to Max. And like, he said something to Max. He was like, "Oh, sorry, mate. Like, bad luck with the safety car and the pit stop and whatever.
Yeah, it's
but
a
good
long
points
season.
today."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like, I don't think he said even a congratulations to Checo.
Probably.
I don't
not. I don't
that
know.
I recall. And then I was surprised that helmet Marco, he was actually out there and like Checo's celebrating with everyone. Max goes directly over to him, gets a hug, shakes hands, whatever. And Helmet actually did hug Checo, which I was like, oh,
Well,
okay.
probably it was his 80th birthday, so.
Yeah. So maybe he was in a what's the word?
Chipper mood.
Jovial. He was a jovial mood today. So he was like, you know what? It's my birthday. I'm just going to give hugs out. He looks like a zombie. Sorry. He does.
Oh gosh.
Anyways.
But besides that, I
Um,
mean, there wasn't like a whole lot.
There wasn't a whole lot of action. I have to confess, I did take a nap during part of this race.
Oh gosh.
I fell asleep. I'm sorry, I was tired.
Well, yeah, Alex. So everyone, just we've been talking about this. Make sure you look for our Instagram.
Mhm.
Alex had her crawfish boil yesterday, and the
Mhm.
theme was F1, and it
Mhm.
was lights out and away we peel. So
Yeah.
look out for our photos, and it was a
Yeah.
good time.
We had a great time. I still have to clean up my backyard some more. Like it was a lot of fun, but I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired."
Yeah, it's so much
So I
fun.
had to
Yeah.
take a nap during the race.
Oh gosh,
But we
that's
did have a good
hilarious.
time. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Well, and then so next week we have Alex's hometown race in Miami.
Yes, in
And she
Miami.
is actually going to be leaving me in Houston, and she is
Oh.
heading to the race.
Yeah. I gotta bring my little mic, like my little
Yes!
one, so that I can plug it into my phone and do like, okay, guys, we're here at the race live.
Live! I would love that.
I need to do that. I need
And
to
you
do
can
that.
have some clips with your niece. She's a
Yes, yeah.
huge Queens of the Paddock fan.
Oh, yes, she is. And she will be coming here. So look forward to that because we are going to
Yes.
have I keep on telling my niece, she is going to be our Gen Z correspondent
Yeah,
for over
our
the
special
summer.
guest. Yeah.
Yeah, so she is going to be staying with us over the summer here in Houston for about 6 weeks. So she's going to be our Gen Z correspondent, and she's so excited. She
Oh,
can't
I
wait.
can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We can't.
well,
I
yeah.
can't wait to hear all her takes.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But
So,
yeah, so we'll be back later on this week. Before I go, we're gonna have the pre-Miami episode posted.
yep.
So we'll have that on Thursday, and then I don't know when we're gonna do the recap, but maybe like Sunday night.
Yeah, or maybe
I'll
even
bring my
Monday.
stuff and I can record. Yeah, so we might
We
be a
might
little bit
be
late,
late. Yeah,
but it will be
exactly.
coming, and then I will do my best to give you guys live updates
Yeah,
over
I
the
can't
weekend.
wait. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. So, and we can talk some more about like the plans and stuff whenever we do our pre-Miami race, but we've got a
Sounds
full
good.
agenda, so we're excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for today.
Yep. You
So,
can catch
thank you
us
for listening.
on Insta,
Mhm.
Twitter.
Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify with video, YouTube with video. Yeah, Instagram at Queens of the Paddock. Shoot us a like. We've been getting some IndyCar drivers liking our posts, and we're super
Yeah.
excited.
I was about to say I want to give like a lot of shout outs to like some of the people who have sent like some awesome, reviews and things.
Yes.
And especially the person that's going after our trolls. I love you. So,
Thank you. Keep being
yeah.
awesome. We appreciate it. Yeah, so leave us a nice review.
Yeah,
We're trying
for
to
sure.
we're trying to
And
stomp the trolls down, guys.
yeah, and like our viewers have said, if you
Mhm.
don't have anything nice to say, then don't say it at all.
That's
So,
right. That is 100%
oh,
right.
so
Your mother should have taught you that when you were a
for
child.
real, for
Everyone.
real. But
But all right.
well,
Well,
we will see you guys next time. Alex, you
yeah,
want to
thank you.
take it away?
Oh, yes. So this has been Queens of the Vatican F1 podcast. My name is Alex.
And I'm Courtney, and lights out, and away we go. Bye.
Bye, guys. We'll see you soon.